So, you're a freshman here.
Yes,
Do you
sir.
play sports?
Yeah, I play basketball here. I play on both the junior varsity team and the varsity team.
Okay. What is the atmosphere a lot like on the basketball team?
The atmosphere is well, everyone on that team is everyone on your team is like your family. Everyone knows each other. You kind of know what everybody's like, and coaches really like to what's it called? They really want us to bond and actually act like we're all brothers. We're all brothers and stuff like that. We're all related. You know, we're very it's like a big old family.
Nice. It's nice to feel like your teammates are family. So, how many people would you say are on the basketball team? I don't know the whole roster. How many people?
So we have two teams. On the varsity team, we have about 17 or 18 or so players, and then strictly on the junior varsity team, I believe we had around about maybe like 9 or so. So if you do a quick math, it's probably around 27 or so players on that team.
Dang, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's more than I thought there was. To be honest, I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
How do you guys start practices?
Yes. Currently we're in our off season right now. So most of our practices are more weight oriented. So we're most likely in the weight room. But occasionally we get some shots up. We do our own personal workouts, and usually every Friday we usually go up and down, do a little scrimmages.
So I know I'll see people in there playing basketball every now and then. It doesn't look like practice. Do you guys ever just go in and shoot around together?
Yeah. That's usually like the best workouts. Best workouts is when you guys are with each other. If you're just the 2, 3, 4 of us. If the gym is open, you like to bring out the shooting machine. We usually call it the gun. It has a huge net, so it catches, misses or makes, and then rebounds it right back at you. So you don't have to run around and grab all the balls or whatever. It does that for you, which is very convenient. And usually, if you're working out with multiple people, you can get a lot of like game-like workouts in, where you can put in passes or like if somebody gets the ball from the machine and passes it to somebody else as like we're like running a play. So it's always best to work out with one another, but you can still get a pretty good workout just by yourself.
You guys like to push each other when you're in there?
Oh,
you guys like to play like one-on-one and stuff like that?
Yes. I'm a very competitive person. I've always liked to we always like to play one-on-one. We like to one-on-one each other. We'll try to maybe like try some new moves that we might want to use in the game. We love to talk trash, not so kid-friendly words. But we love to 1v1. We love to go at each other.
What do you think started your competitive drive when you were growing up?
I've always been competitive, but I think like what made me really competitive was it's probably just how I grew up. I've always been the smaller person, kind of wherever I'm in class or playing outside or wherever. So I've always had to work, twice as hard to be just as good as somebody else is. So it was kind of just like my environment that I grew up in that allowed me to be more competitive, to always try to best than anybody around me.
So I'm hearing this, so you were always smaller than everyone else, and so that's what caused your drive and like made you so competitive because you wanted to beat everybody? Am I getting that right?
Yeah, I've always been. It's not just. It doesn't have to be just like sports or whatever. It's kind of whatever. I've always been like naturally. I've always been below average, so I had to work twice as hard, or harder than the next person to be just as good as them. So yeah.
It's awesome. Okay, so as you get closer to season, how do you expect everything to start playing out? Like, when do you guys really start having practices and everything like that?
So last year, during the summer, that's when I started practicing with the team. I practiced as soon as I graduated from high school, so the day after graduation, I was already practicing with the team. So we were, things would just get more competitive. Usually when semester starts up again, we kind of relax almost to, because at that point it's preseason, we're not trying to hurt ourselves. So from this time through the summer, and we're always trying to push ourselves. It's going to be a lot harder. It's going to be pretty hectic out there. So yeah, it's only going to get harder from here. But after the summer, we're still going to put in that work, and we're going to continue to try to give us the best opportunity to pursue a championship.
Now you said that you started as soon as you graduated. Now, was that scary to start off instantly going to college and playing against college guys?
Very, very, very scary. I couldn't stress this enough. I was pretty late, so to say, to go against that kind of competition. I started one of my former teammates from high school invited me to some college level basketball run. I never really have done anything like that before, and it was quite scary to go against people, who may be 5 years older than you. So and especially going into college, I'm very young for my grade. When coming in, I was only 17 years old. So everyone there was an adult. Everyone there was older than me. I had teammates. I have teammates at the time that were 23 and I was 17. That's a 6-year difference, and that is super scary. So yeah, it was quite terrifying.
How do you think you overcame that when you first started playing? Overcoming that fear?
And playing college basketball?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you started playing, and then it was scary at first. What made you finally overcome?
It took a while. I say about a week or so of practicing with the team and realizing that these guys are not just superheroes or anything like that. They're not like quite above me. They're just like me. They're trying to. We all have the same goal in mind. But the incident where I was no longer scared. It was with my first game. We have these things called shootouts throughout the summer, and we had I'm trying to remember. So we had this game at St. Francis, and we played 3 games that day. And coach in a way kind of split up the team because we had a lot of players. I think at the time we had probably like 14 playing, which is, it's not a lot. It's kind of what you want on the team. But he split us up so we can all get some playing time. So I was on the second team because I'm a freshman. So I remember I got in on the third game, the very last game of that day, and I was terrified, right? But as soon as I got into the game, the other team called a timeout, and I was like, thank God, I can probably calm my nerves. I got into the game for the first time. I was super nervous. They called timeout, so I was able to calm down right away, so I didn't freak out. But as soon as I got to the game, it just came to me. It felt supernatural, and I remember I scored my first points. It was a floater over somebody who was a foot taller than me, and it was everyone on the bench went crazy, and that's when I knew there's nothing to worry about.
Do you think when it came to how it was scary to start off with your team, do you think realizing that these guys can be more than just the scary dudes that are way older than me to becoming like, oh, these guys are like family?
Can you repeat that one time?
Do you think it helped where you start out as being like, it was scary to start off playing against these guys that are your teammates now?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think what also might have helped as more time went on is that they seem more like family?
Yeah, most definitely. The more you hang out with these guys, the more you realize that we're a bunch of kids. We're a bunch of student athletes who are trying to pursue a degree and trying to become the best, basketball players and then men later on down the road. Yeah.
Now, I know you guys do a lot on the court. You guys all hang out on the court and stuff like that. Do you guys all get together and hang out as groups outside?
Yeah, most definitely. Even if even before games, or even after games, we love to have team meals and I've always even during those off days, I love to go to some of my teammates' dorms and play video games or to study or anything like that. And that, yes, I love to bond with these guys. I like to, of course, I love food. We all love food.
Yeah.
I love to eat with these guys, and again, we're all here for a purpose. We're all here to try to pursue an education. So I love to study with these guys as well. And sometimes, you just want to have fun. Sometimes I like to, sometimes you just like to have fun. If that's just goofing off or whatever.
So, as you were growing up, who was the person you looked up to in the basketball field?
Person I really looked up to. That's a wonderful question. I have so many professional basketball players I can think of. But I think the first one I can mention was Kobe Bryant. I remember seeing him when I was young. I used to go to my late auntie's house when I was younger, and she would there's this during the summer. And if you know anything about basketball or professional basketball, this is the playoffs. This is like the championships games and stuff like that. So I remember seeing Kobe Bryant, go at these guys during the playoffs, and I was just like, wow. And this is a time where he was winning those, he won back to back, and it was just so incredible, and it really made me fall in love with basketball.
Would you consider you being more of a in the paint kind of guy or a shooter outside of the paint?
That's a really good question. Skill wise, just naturally, I am a more of an in the paint kind of person, which is kind of weird because I'm actually the shortest guy on the team. You wouldn't think I would go in the paint over these guys who are, a whole foot taller than me. But I strive and, going through the trees, what they say. But every once in a while, I like to extend, show people what I got from range. I enjoy it a lot more to shoot from deep than just going to get a layup. But skill-wise, I can definitely get a more of a finishing kind of guy than a shooting guy.
Awesome. Now, to end it off, are you excited for the upcoming season?
I'm very excited. We already have a bunch of new recruits and a couple of transfers already, and guys from a higher division of college who are just such incredible athletes. And it is kind of sad to see some of my seniors leave, but I know that in the end we're gonna make them happy, because we're gonna go on to win, we're gonna go on to win many games and try to win a championship here.
Good interview.
It's a pleasure. Wow, that was perfect.